Hey, it's Joshua here with the edition of Mortgage Clarity, and I have Kevin Reimer with Goosehead Insurance back here today. And again, we're doing just a series of videos around insurance. We didn't want to do one long one, just thought it'd be easier to break up into sections. And so now the question I have, and actually this is something Kevin had brought to my attention back when I first met him, was about umbrella policies and kind of what those are for. Now this is an insurance policy that's not for everybody, but probably for investors, or you might say high net worth people. It's something to consider. So Kevin, what is an umbrella policy? How does it work, and when should I maybe consider even looking into having it?
Right. So an umbrella policy is a liability-only policy. When you should start looking at it, you're asking an insurance guy if more insurance is always a good idea, and I'll always say yes. But yeah, so typically it's a great policy as people are in their prime earning years or even earlier, starting to build their wealth, build towards that golden age of retirement, right? And their nest egg is getting bigger. You don't want some accident or something to happen to jeopardize that nest egg, or have a lawsuit come after you where somebody can sue you and now you're out a lot of money and that kind of thing. So the umbrella policy is a liability only policy. Okay. It covers basically everything you own. So your home, your cars, rental properties, boats, ATVs, whatever you have, whatever kind of policy you have that has liability on it, it's extending those liability limits on that policy. For example, I think a best real world example would be auto insurance. So auto insurance, you have liability limits on your auto. In order to qualify for an umbrella policy, you have to have minimum limits of $250,000, liability limits of $250,000 per person, $500,000 each occurrence. So what that means, if you're driving around and you hit somebody, you cause an accident, you run a red light, T-bone a minivan in an intersection, several kids are in there, they're all hurt, maybe someone severely. They go to the hospital, your auto insurance will cap it at $250,000 for each person, not to exceed $500,000 for all 4 or 5 people combined. Okay. And then the umbrella policy would extend, and you can get anywhere from a $1 to a $5 million umbrella. So depends how much liability you want. But the most popular one is a $1 million umbrella. So the umbrella would extend your liability an extra $1 million. $1
million beyond the 500,000.
Beyond the 250, right? So at the end of the day, you'd have up to a total of 1.25 million per person. Oh, per 1.5 for everybody combined. Okay. Yeah. So it just extends those liability limits on your car, on your home. Typically home policies should have at least $500,000 in liability on the home. So it would extend that an extra $1 million as well. So it would help you in a lawsuit. So again, if you hit someone in your vehicle, someone is disabled or severely injured, the family lawyers up and comes after you. The limits of the auto policy are exhausted. This gives you that added protection of an umbrella to protect any current and future assets that you have as well.
Now you mentioned auto insurance policy, but from a real estate perspective, where I have found this useful is if you're a person, an investor, and you own multiple rental properties, while you like to hope that nothing bad happens, there's always a possibility of a lawsuit. You have a tenant, something happens that goes beyond just maybe what a tree fall on the house. Maybe they claimed it was neglect, they knew the tree was going to fall, whatever, you get into a lawsuit. And sometimes people just are going after that nest egg. Yeah. This is kind of running, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the idea behind this is the more rental properties you have, the more potentials you have for perhaps a lawsuit.
Exposure.
Yeah. You have exposure. And this is just a way to prevent them from saying, well, I'm going to go after your personal savings accounts and your retirement accounts. Right. Which, not to say they couldn't still do that, but you've got this buffer now that claim has to be awarded beyond that $1 million before it starts to threaten your livelihood. Is that right?
Yeah, and I think for people with higher net value, net worth, for people who have rentals, you don't know what your renters are doing, right? If they're having a raging party and somebody gets injured on premise or leaves a party and hurts someone, people tend to sue people in this country. It's kind of common. So I would rather cover myself in the event that if somebody gets hurt or injured severely or killed, family could go after anybody. You know,
Right.
they're going to sue anybody under the sun to try to get money from, you know, whatever situation.
Right.
So yeah, the more coverage, the more protection you have, I think is better. And umbrella policies are extremely inexpensive. You know, it's a very
So what, like the base $1 million policy?
I mean, shoot, even if you're looking at just a basic one home, 2 cars, you know, shoot, depending on age and, you know, that kind of stuff, but you're looking as low as, you know, $165 a year for a $1 million umbrella.
Okay, really cheap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fantastic. So there you have it. Umbrella policy. It's not insuring additional like destruction to your house because a tree fell on it. It's liability only. Somebody's suing you, and so that's the big thing I think to take away. It's not additional coverage because you're driving I don't know, cheap coverage in your car and a car gets wrecked, and now it's going to cover that. It's liability only, but it's really just a hedge against unforeseen liability, big lawsuits. It's one of those policies that most of the time, like all insurance, you hope you never have to use,
Exactly.
but when you need it, you're going to like that you have it. So I appreciate that. I think umbrella policies, particularly if you own multiple properties, you're an investor out there, you got lots of different properties, you just got more exposure, and therefore a policy might benefit you on that, as well as those who, again, higher net worth. It's not for everybody. If you want to know more about this, you know, reach out to your insurance agent, ask if it's right for you. If you don't have a great insurance agent you're working with, I definitely recommend Kevin Reimer here with Goosehead Insurance. We're here in Oregon. I don't know, how many states do you cover?
I'm licensed in Oregon and Washington.
Okay, so if you're in Oregon, Washington, and you don't have an insurance agent, you need somebody, Kevin Reimer here, he's a great agent. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and put your comments in the comment sections down below, and we'll definitely respond to you with answers for that. All right, till next time, have a great day.